The Iron Grill in the Root. 1963. Hamilton Beach, a spit of sand in Wareham, Massachusetts. My old man, Papa Richard, bought a patch of dirt next to a cottage of knotty pine. A hurricane had come through a few years prior and wiped the neighbors clean off the map. Nature swings the axe. The smart man buys the empty lot. $5,000. He built the 3-bedroom house with his bare hands and 3 uncles. We called it the Red House. Sunday afternoons. The air tasted like salt and hot grease. The whole family descended. 20 people loud enough to wake the dead. Uncle Tony, walking up the wooden stairs carrying wooden crates of tomatoes and grapes. Tony was a fruit salesman from Boston. He wore a black eye patch from the war. A pirate carrying a box of green lettuce. He never got a word in edgewise because my Aunt Jo took all the oxygen in the room. You don't fight the weather. You just let it blow. Then there was the meat. There's 2 kinds of nourishment in this world. The kind that keeps you alive, and the kind that tells you who you are. If you don't know the difference, you're gonna starve. We were a Boston Italian family, middle of 5 kids, loud, relentless. You grew up with a spatula in one hand and a pot in the other. We didn't learn love through apologies. We learned it from a hot plate of macaroni and meatballs, from Grandma Gina's muffins and my father's Velveeta steak. Years later, I took that blood to Wall Street. December 2009. The world was ending. The financial system was bleeding out in the gutter. European banks were falling off the edge. The Dow was a graveyard. I went home on a Friday night, pulled the shades, and took the phone off the hook. I looked at my wife, Evelyn. I said, "Hey, sweetheart, I don't want to see anyone. I want to cook." Monday morning, I wrote my market note to my clients. I explained the European collapse, the panic, the math. But at the bottom of the note, by accident, I typed the recipe for the pesto. I hit send. 16 hedge fund managers and billionaires got a recipe for garlic and arugula. Every one of them called me. Not about the market, about the pasta. Finance unnerves people. It breaks them down. Food puts them back together. You can't control the Federal Reserve. You can't stop an algorithm from dumping 10 million shares into a dark pool. But you can control the heat under a cast iron pan. You can feed your family. You buy a stock, you own a piece of paper. It burns. You cook a meal, you own the root. I started putting a recipe at the bottom of every market note from that day on. Deep-fried Facebook failed turkey when an IPO cratered. Eggs in purgatory when the market stalled. Drunk spaghetti boiled in red wine when Greece went bankrupt. Because no matter what happens to the math, a man still has to eat. There's sharks and minnows out there. They will take your money if you let them. But they can't take the memory of a heavy iron grill on a wooden deck in the summer of '82. They can't take the sol in the air. That's yours.